Salt Lake,
Good
a
morning.
couple more
guys.
hours. Anyway, it adds up.
Good
Does that.
morning. Let's call
Morning.
the meeting to order. Okay, do I have approval of the minutes for Tuesday, October 18th, 2022?
You do.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Favor?
Aye.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have one question about the minutes. It looks like all the votes are 3-0, but there were 4 people present, and I just was wondered about that.
There were only 4 people present about 20, 30 minutes into the meeting. So the votes that happened at the beginning of the meeting were only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Very good. Thank you.
Now we know you read it.
All right.
that's good.
Okay.
I haven't received any.
Action items, utility relief requests, huge utility billing and waivers. We only have.
I must have missed
Gary
it.
Minter, well,
Oh.
this is, I think, it's just letting us know about Gary Minter, correct?
Yes,
Is that the one? Just letting us know, Gary Minter,
right.
the one, yeah. So the council approved to give him half, I believe that's what it was. And
There it is.
that's just, yeah, I think it's.
Yeah,
the right thing.
compromise,
So,
yeah.
All right, anybody has any questions on that? Okay.
can I add a comment? Mr. Mentor called yesterday and extended his appreciation to the
Great.
committee for taking his challenging of the decision in the spirit it was meant. It wasn't about the money, he said. It was about making sure that the forms and documentation was clear for the next person that put in for it to understand what the committee evaluates these things by. So it was a nice discussion with him. So you guys,
Good.
he said he appreciated how we handled it at the council meeting and whatnot. So all ended well.
Okay, yeah, I think we all learned something, so we can move forward and
Yeah.
clear this up today. So, all right, so let's move on to Doug's suggestion. Does anybody have any comment? Does anybody have anything else? Because I think it looks good.
I have a comment on my own suggestion.
Okay, you have a comment?
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll comment in Doug's comment.
At least I'm not looking at you on the screen.
So, yeah, I'm really proud about this language I've come up with, and I looked at all the different jurisdictions. I tried to amalgamate everything together. Nice, concise definition that covered all the bases on what a leak is, and what a leak isn't. And once again, I got to thinking that these phrases and these provisions are from jurisdictions that grant relief for the water side of the bill under certain circumstances and under certain periods of time and so forth. So the jurisdictions are very sensitive to make sure that they clearly define what a leak is, because if the jurisdiction approves a request, they're actually going to take a financial hit. They're going to give direct relief from the water side of the bill. So I believe this is a good definition for those circumstances. But once again, I think we all get a little, I won't say confused about the unique situation in Cannon Beach. We never, ever give relief from the water side of the bill. The customer is always going to pay for the use of the water.
Yes.
So the only thing, in a way, our leak relief is a little bit of a misnomer. It really is a request for relief from the sewer bill that wasn't used. That's really what it is.
Right,
And so we get a little hung up on the water side, even though it kind of doesn't matter. No matter what happens, they're always going to pay for every drop of water they use. It's really just a determination of whether that circumstance impacted the sewer or not.
Right.
And so then, of course, it makes sense to grant relief because the city was not impacted in any way, but the city's made 100% whole under every one of these that we grant. So we kind of go around through all these gyrations. Should we grant it or shouldn't we? But I think we lose sight of the fact that unlike other jurisdictions, Cannon Beach always requires payment of the water side. So even though I like the language, I wonder if we want to spend time, effort, and schmoozing over the definition of a leak, when my personal opinion is, because of the unique situation of Cannon Beach of always requiring the payment of the water side of the bill, whether we're kind of okay now. I looked at the I looked at the resolution 2222 by the council. And it says, whereas accidental or no fault water leaks, meaning it has to be an accident, not the purposeful.
Right, unintentional.
Can unexpectedly occur and significantly increase utility bills for customers. Whereas the city incurs costs associated with removing and treating all water, including leaks that enter the sewer system. So we've come up with these forms that they make it clear in the body of the form that we're only going to give relief for the sewer side of the bill. It's not real clear when you get started. If I was the average person, that I'm going to understand. So all I'm saying is, I don't know if we need to do this. Even though, I'll leave it at that. I'm fairly satisfied of where we are. And I'm trying to conceptualize what we think is broken right now
Okay,
procedurally.
all right.
Whether it was
Okay.
intended or unintended, that what the committee has come up with for leak relief actually results in a simple test, and that is, does the water enter the wastewater system or not?
Correct.
That's the only thing we consider when we're determining whether or not it's a very simple test and, that's all. Did the city have to treat the water or did they not have to treat the water?
Now, I have one suggestion, Doug. If we could take it on the introduction and state what you said right in the beginning and then go forward. Like the customer will always pay, blah, blah, blah.
I think that would be great. I'd like to change the title. It's not really a leak relief.
Okay,
It's relief from the sewer bill, but I don't know if we want to.
but if we have the introduction and bang, we come right out with that statement and then go through the unintentional appliance, blah, 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 not irrigation, but all the other things, as it's written, I thought it was very good. But make that statement up front, then that way somebody like myself, looking at that right off the bat, knows that in bold. Then you go through the detail. That would be my suggestion.
If you guys had time to listen or were there at the meeting, you could see that that's kind of where the discussion was going during the council meeting too, is that they had lost sight of just the sewer aspect of
Yes,
talking about, and they were looking
right, it's very important.
of the total water loss. And one of the counselors, I can't remember who it was, spoke up and said, aren't we just talking about, and they clarified that. So it is easy to lose sight of that. when-
Exactly. It's easy to lose sight of what we do in Cannon Beach and how,
Yep.
and how it's different.
I think by adding that statement in there, like Scott said, or the ordinance that states that would help that.
We could add a simple sentence that just says, if the water entered the sewer system, and,
Right.
then we won't grant relief for that.
Okay,
We
Something
won't
like that.
grant relief for this sewer bill. It's just,
yeah, if we just make it and then just bold, maybe even bold, and then go forward, that way everybody knows right off the beginning, there's no dispute.
well, it's okay to say the reverse too. No relief will be granted for costs of
And
the
maybe
water.
that's the way to state it.
That probably is better.
Yeah.
It's more firm, it's more affirmative.
So I don't know if we need to have a deep definition of what a leak is or isn't. It's.
It actually doesn't matter whether it's a leak or not.
That's
Did it enter the?
Well, let me tell you what, when I read,
Got on a squirrel of.
Yeah.
depressing
I
the-
did a lot of work on it.
let me tell you what, you guys, when I read Tessa's note from Anita, where she literally says unintentional appliance, she used all the words.
Yeah.
So people are learning, people are studying what that means.
Yeah.
So I think if we make just one statement up front, that says the sewer thing, bang, and then we go through, I think it would clarify it, to be honest with you.
It's easy to.
It's simple.
Lose sight of the bigger
one
picture.
sentence.
It sends you down a rabbit hole,
Yes.
including that.
Really very simple.
Guys are on the right track as far as clarifying what a leak is, so people just understand that, right?
Just simplify it. for the-
But I think Steve's point is well taken, is that it's easy to lose sight of the fact the only thing you're evaluating relief on is everything that's gone through the sewer.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And we've come full circle. Remember years ago, we said, why aren't these just, most of them just handled in the front office? But I think they're mandated, but for a lot of them, pretty easy to determine.
So let's go back to the wording that we want to use at the beginning
On the form, maybe.
on the form.
Yes.
Okay,
So we can get that done. We can give it to Tessa and then Tessa can hopefully read it back to us and then maybe we can make a decision.
Okay.
Okay, I will note before we move forward, unless I'm misunderstanding something, our current methodology form does specify that this is only for water leakage not flowing into the wastewater treatment system.
That's on our current form.
That's on our current form. I think
We just need
on
to
screen for
bold
it.
that.
How about we bold it?
We just want to unbury it, that's all.
Bold it.
yeah, unbury it, exactly.
Yeah, unbury it.
Put it up.
Bold it.
Is our-
Bury it,
Unbury it.
Is our-
Bury it and bold it.
Is our current form on page 8 or 9,
bold
Tessa?
it and italicize it.
Our current form,
And
I have
then-
page 8, I have a page 8 and a page 9 for our form. Which one's the current?
Current form is page 7 and 8.
Okay, well, I have.
Okay.
That's pretty-
There you go.
So in your methodology, it has that.
Okay, so I just need to find page 7.
Yes, and
Okay.
then
Okay, here we go. So the, what's again, what the, well, yeah, let's make my printer. On page 7, I have utility leak adjustment policy.
Okay.
Okay, and I have the actual form on 8 and 9.
Yeah.
yeah, the actual
Okay.
form is 8 and 9.
Right, okay, so that was my
So-
question. Which
but
one
those
of
are
the,
the new ones. Those ones are the new ones. This is the old one. 9 is the old.
9 is the old, 8 is the new, okay.
Correct.
Well, okay,
It is the
we're
new.
I got it.
And pages 7 and 8 are printed front and back and are available in the front office for customers submitting these, so they get both of these at once.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So once again,
So we need to just make sure we pull that. So where is the one?
oh, there, okay. it's up there.
Fold.
So now we're on the new one, and that's the old one, you're
No.
scrolling, opposite. I'll finally get this straight.
New one is on screen.
New one's on the screen, okay.
Good.
If you go down to the methodology right there. Right here, that
It's
statement.
right there,
We
yes.
would bold and italicize that.
Customers average sewer.
Beautiful.
Or heck, I don't know, just move that whole section right up to the top.
You know, let's see if that'll fit. If you
Yeah.
scroll up to the top, Tessa.
So just flip that and put it up above your adjustment request procedure. So before they even start requesting,
I think
let them
so.
know that that's the only part that's gonna be
Yeah.
adjusted.
I don't see a problem with explaining the methodology firsthand.
Okay, so
Neither.
this is also up here on the front page.
Yeah.
It's bold and italicized this.
I would just bold it.
Yeah.
On the form
That way it's
itself.
very easy to reference. It goes back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better.
Fantastic.
Is that what you guys want?
I think that's an improvement. Let me think a little bit, but I like it.
Want it in red?
Yeah, no kidding.
25.
Colorblind.
When they pick one up, we'll hand them a highlighter and. tell them what-
Dark shade of red?
Exactly.
We could add per Doug. No, with an exclamation point. No, I think I like it just bold and
Italicize.
yeah, italicized.
Average is deducted from the total sewer consumption used during the, okay, so if it's in that paragraph.
Only for water,
Not
not flowing into the wastewater treatment
I
system.
mean, let me look at the beginning here, just make sure people aren't putting leaks repair at a time.
Now, I have something else. The maximum credit issued shall not exceed $1,000. Is there a time limit on that? Didn't we say for
Was it
3
90
years?
days or?
For every 3 years or something like that?
Ah.
3 or 5 years?
So if you guys look at the old form, everything was bold on that part.
Right.
And I think I mean, I don't remember us having so many issues and people were not, I mean, they would
Right.
request and they would go
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm.
And so that was one of the parts that I think we discussed a lot and, you know, we wanted to get rid of it. I'm not sure exactly why we did, but I think we need to bold everything that is particular to that. So we can go back to just making sure that people look at that and say, okay. And
Kinda jumps out at
unfortunately, this is the
people.
time. Yeah, yeah, we need to,
And when they call in and ask questions to staff, it's easy for us to say, if you'll notice the second paragraph, bolded sentence that says da-da-da, then it's easy for them to look right at it and understand.
oh, I got it. Yes, I think that's,
So really, that's all we're talking about today. We're not going back and changing anything or adjusting anything on timelines, dollar amounts, any of that.
Nope.
It
We're
was
not changing
just
dollar
that
amounts,
clarification.
And even after my work, I don't think we need to have go on and on about what a leak is. I don't.
No.
Right,
Because you're gonna pay for the water anyway.
right.
Right.
The only other rabbit hole, if you want to call it that I've never quite understood, maybe we put it to bed, is the whole irrigation
Mm-hmm.
question. I'm not sure, Karen, I know you have an opinion on this. I've always struggled kind of understanding it, and it's not your fault, it's my fault. Why is irrigation not included in relief? Because it clearly didn't enter the sewer system.
Well, we can never give relief for irrigation because we don't give relief for water. And it will never enter the
Right.
irrigation system.
Oh,
So what's there to give?
Yes.
That, okay, so you're just giving the customer that logic.
Yeah.
Don't even submit an
Don't even go there,
irrigation
right.
because it never enters the sewer system.
Correct.
Okay, now I think I get it.
Previously, that's why they had the sentence in there and it was bolded.
Yes.
So that people knew that irrigation was off the table, period. There was no rationale needed.
Okay,
By removing it, it
Yep.
opened that door for
Correct.
people to submit stuff and start questioning that. And here we go again about trying to explain that it's only the sewer aspect of it, right? And
Yes.
that's where we begin to weave this tangled web of confusion.
Yeah.
So, it's.
I think that statement is just to
Undo on that.
the logic out of what we're doing.
right, so it's really a do not bother to apply warning.
Correct,
Right,
yes.
kindly,
Okay.
Yes.
kindly save the
Yeah.
paper in your effort.
You use it
Save
for an
yourself
irrigation
some time.
system,
That's it.
oh, it didn't go into the sewer, you're gonna
Oh,
pay.
Yeah, please.
yeah,
Yes, that was good.
that was the only rationale behind that.
Okay,
To make.
And I think that's why the committee had put it on there and bolded it, because that was an issue in past years.
Yes.
And so when we took it off, that's why I cautioned you, is because that's why they had put it on.
so
Okay,
this is,
so-
okay, so really what we're saying is you're gonna automatically, no, they should apply. Let's see, I'm trying, they're gonna automatically, once again, it didn't go into the sewer system. We know it didn't go into the sewer system. So
Why apply?
why apply?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They should not apply.
And
So quite frankly, had that sentence been on there and Mr. Mentor challenged his
that's where I'm going with this.
decision,
Couldn't,
but because our documentation wasn't clear,
right? That's
um,
why you did it.
it opened the door to that.
So when the city council gave him partial relief, they gave him partial relief.
I mean,
from what,
they-
the water side?
Because,
They felt like there was ownership in both parties as our documentation wasn't clear. And
Okay, that's fine. So do we need to, what's in our form now? Is that clear that
We should
irrigation?
probably reinsert that
I think
because
we should.
he didn't follow the logic and the city
Right.
council didn't understand the logic,
correct,
Okay, there we go.
what our intention was by not.
because we
releasing water.
weren't in a position to be able to take the document and
This
point.
makes it very clear, so there's,
Yeah.
It states.
you should take the gray out of it.
Used in this, what is a leak? And that wasn't even the issue.
The end of my
Yeah.
language there is irrigation systems and associated components are not eligible for relief.
Perfect.
Yes, and associated components. I like that.
So, I mean, if you,
But in this case, it was a malfunctioning timer. Right? So it wouldn't really matter.
I'd be fine.
It
with
wouldn't
putting
be
that.
open for review.
I would too.
Okay,
in fact,
so we
Maybe
need
leave
to
that with Tess.
add that
and
to
she
the
can,
form.
Okay,
insert that.
I'm sorry, is the language that you were just referring to different than what you sent me that's up on screen here?
I'm just reading off of what's in the packet here, which is the last sentence of the proposed definition, which says irrigation systems and associated components are not eligible for relief. It's right
It's the
there.
last
Perfect.
sentence
Yeah.
there.
And the bulletized.
Yes. So this,
Irrigation systems and associated components are not eligible for relief.
And
You can't get, now, you might want that, go down one, have that as a separate sentence.
well, let's look at the form here.
You know, so it's not the end of a paragraph.
And just do what we did on the other one is
Yes.
italicizing and italicizing.
Right.
I think that would be
Something that's
great.
critical.
Right, just skip it down, just
Right.
so you space it.
Before we leave this, let's just see where we might want to put it. Maybe there, maybe there,
Yeah.
maybe there.
That's good.
But stand alone.
Perhaps. That way, when the guys are out in the field, like Daryl or Daniel or Sean, and they have an employee or they have a resident that's had a leak.
Yeah.
They can define what's eligible, what's not eligible, and
Well, after that-
we kind of put a lot of this stuff to bed, you know, they don't even
Exactly.
fill it out. And so,
I think we should definitely do
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I mean,
make it bold.
Space it and then and put it as a separate bang, bang, you know, italic,
Yeah, I
bold.
think that's fine,
italicized.
but it's standalone, yeah.
so what do we think of our form now?
I like it. I think it's good. I think you did a great job researching.
I think you guys nailed
I
it.
really do. And,
Happy with that.
hey, it's,
Yeah, we didn't
You know what?
What got me thinking like.
Guess what?
Do this.
Trevor,
Isn't it
Trevor,
hard?
do you guys have any
Oh.
suggestions, any questions? Do you guys like it?
The only thing is on the $1,000, is that per 36 months? Is that what we decided?
So that is, yeah, and that's listed right above here, any 36.
Okay.
3-year.
So that it doesn't exceed $1,000
In that third.
Every 3 years.
36-month
Right.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear there because it's 30 or $1,000 per incident
Yeah.
over a 36-month term or period.
And on the bright side, Doug, it's not like you're coming up with the extra definition that we're not putting in here is for nothing because we now do have it in public meeting record. So if there are questions about denial letters, et cetera, there's discussion about it. So
Yeah.
it is much appreciated.
Thank you,
Very much, yeah.
thank you. And you're doing a good job, Tessa.
Thank you.
I think I'm done with this topic. How about the?
I think it's
Yeah.
good.
Guys did a good
It
job.
looks good.
Amber?
You okay?
Comments?
No, I'm good. I was just checking with Amber.
Let's book it.
Good.
Book it, Daniel.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this new form?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Do.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good.
All right, thank you very much. Any discussion? Okay, thank you.
Good.
Motion has passed. Okay, good job.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I think we are done. Are we moving on to the Anita? Do we need to have any discussion on that?
So we, if we do, it would be in good of the order. And I think we have Karen's updates first, if you have any.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Karen, any updates?
Public works status.
Wanted to share something with you guys that I'm not sure you're aware of. And Amber triggered the thought for me that maybe we had never discussed this. I don't know if we have. I don't know. I don't remember if we did or not. So I wanted to get you the information. Amber sent a great note about the city considering creating like a solar farm here in Cannon Beach. And as y'all know, our space is so limited on where we can do things like this. But several years back, Pacific Power contacted me about becoming part of their state solar farm. And so Cannon Beach is a member of that. And what that does for us is for our small meters, such as our street lights, the power in all of our buildings, we are part of this solar farm. Didn't cost us anything to become a member of that. On your utility bills, there's actually a line item that we all pay on our utility bills that enables us to become members of this farm at no cost to us. And we save X amount annually. We were on a waiting list for a number of years before we finally got to be a member of this. And that's for our small meters, okay? So we are currently a member of this solar farm for the small meters that I talked about. So all of our power at the buildings, street lights, anything that pulls power, with the exception of our large meters, which are our generators, big things that pull big power like that will come off of a separate solar farm that is built and geared for large meter consumption. Okay, so I'll give you these handouts that talk about this, what this is. It's called Oregon Shines. And they will begin sending me reports on just how much the city has saved. And so I'll be able to share that with you when those reports start coming. Of course, Ashley looked at this. Obviously Bruce signed off on it and all that kind of stuff. The second handout I'm going to give you is our Christmas lights. So we are also part of the green energy associated with our Christmas lights. So when we light up the bandstand or we put our Christmas lights out here in front, we are part of Pacific Power's Green Energy Associated. Those are LED lights. They draw very little power, and so on. So Amber's point was well taken. The benefit of this is we haven't had to expend the capital to create a solar farm in an area where we have no space to do so. But we can become a member of Pacific Power's farm. So stay tuned for some statements showing exactly what we are saving. A rough estimate on the small meters, at a minimum, they said we should be saving 2,000 to 2,500 a year on those. Could be much more. It's just an estimate based on what our current bills are. And then the large meter for our generators would obviously be much more, and they haven't given me the projections on that yet. So as soon as that, our subscription, to that, and I call it subscription, doesn't cost us anything. But as soon as our membership to that larger farm becomes a reality, and again, we start getting our statements on what we save, I'll be sharing that with you guys. So the city's active in trying to be good stewards of not only the environment, but save the cost of our energy costs.
And where is the solar farms located?
They have them in various parts throughout the state. Some of the land is actually donated land from farmers that have given to this program. I don't know who the owners are of the farm that we belong to. Most of this is in Central Oregon, some of us in Eastern Oregon. So you can go through that and kind of read and then let me know if you have any questions. If you want one of our Pacific Power representatives to join our call in the future and you can ask questions or whatnot, let me know and I can arrange that. I think it's kind of cool. It's something we haven't done before. At first, I was kind of leery of it and thought, okay, where's the catch? Because we're joining this for free and then we're saving all this money annually. Where's this coming?
I don't know.
It's coming from us on our utility bills.
I would encourage everybody to look at page, about 4 pages back where they have a sample bill. You almost have to have an accountant to really figure out if you're gonna save. I think you are.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
savings equals a credit minus
Yeah.
the subscription fee and how the subscription fee is calculated based on your historical energy
Be
use.
complex. That's why I handed it over to Ashley and said, hey, is this,
Yeah.
sure, should we join or
I'm
should we?
gonna remain a little bit of a skeptic,
So,
So Karen, yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so is it possible, so just to give more context, like I think the article that I shared with you that I saw would probably help explain, and is that something that we can share with the committee? And then I guess the second part to my comment here is that it's possible for all of us to kind of participate even as residents. So it's amazing and it's awesome. And I really appreciated that you joined up with that for Cannon Beach so that we could, start taking part in more climate friendly solutions, energy solutions, but we can also do so as citizens. And I think that that's another part to understand here. And kind of the reason why I sent it was we should, we're a small town, we can kind of all be doing everything we can.
Yeah, I think probably by getting this master subscription, you're gonna, like Amber says, you're gonna allow the individual customer
yeah.
to come in and elect to do that.
Invite her to a meeting and have her share with you guys?
The what? now?
Would you like me to have the Pacific
Yeah.
Power representative?
Yeah.
That'd be
Because
great.
I'll tell you, this is the skeptic part of me, they have the same programs in Portland
Yeah.
area. And they'll have the person
Yeah.
there from PG come up to the door and say, would you like to sign up for clean energy or
Yeah, mhm.
solar and all this? And I ask them one question, will this increase my bill?
Yes.
The answer is always yes.
Yes.
And so then it becomes a philosophical question.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's good or bad, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the public to get sucked in and say, oh, this, not only is this good for the environment, but I'm gonna save money.
No,
Right,
exactly.
right.
It's-
No.
yeah.
It's like the old
Right, we
saying,
had a multitude of, I'll just say contractors for the better term of anybody and everybody out there trying to sell us a energy saving. And they've evaluated our wastewater plant, they've evaluated our water plant, and there's been zero benefit that would have come out of any of those programs so far. This was the first one that really actually, we saw some return on the benefit, you know? But coming from a utility company, I thought this is being paid for somehow. I just needed to understand that chain of
yeah.
cost and where that was coming from. So,
I think it's the right thing to sign up for like the master subscription, and there, you'll have a large sign up of people that are willing to pay
Pay
extra
for
on
the
their
extra.
utility bill.
well, I think that
That's fine.
the restaurants and whatnot, the Pacific Power actually goes out after the restaurants as well, just like they come after the municipalities. These farms are, there's a capacity, and so they'll chase small companies and or big companies based on the capacity of the farm, how it's designed, and what more they can fit into it, right? So when she pursued us, she said, based on the size of your town, you're the perfect candidate for what we've got available in this particular farm. So they're not able to just open it up to anybody and everybody. I mean, that there is a capacity, obviously, that the farm can tolerate. I asked her what happens if we were to say, okay, we want to drop. Do they go out? And she says, yes, we pursue another small municipality that has meters that we could monitor. It all has to be separated by address and whatnot, which all of our locations are. So there's meters at each of these individual locations. So there's a lot of nuances to it that I had no idea how they work these solar farms. And I told Ashley and Bruce, I said, well, it doesn't hurt us to try it, see what our benefit is.
No.
And if it's truly a benefit, we do recognize a savings, then we stay on long-term. And if it ends up being much ado about nothing, I said, we can always drop. There's no penalty one way or another. That's what we did. So,
Well, there's an old saying also that sometimes if you spend a dime to save a dollar, it's wise.
right.
And this might be the case. So if we have a presentation, they could address that, but
I was asking her, and it had nothing to do with municipalities, but just to understand how they reach out and bring people into these farms based on how it's designed. Is do they go after places like breweries, wineries, you know, central and eastern Oregon, and that they draw a lot of power for what happens in their production facilities. And she said, oh yeah, it's not exclusive to municipalities. It's based on the meters and the power they're pulling as to how it fits into the farm design. And I said, okay. So it's quite complex, how they put these farms together, but
Yeah.
it was worth the opportunity to see what.
I think Jan had a comment, didn't you?
I just wanted to say that I think it's important, like what we're all experiencing already with the climate changing, that if we, just what you said, Scott, that if we pay a little more now, we may be really saving
Yes,
in the long run.
totally agree.
It's really time we start thinking of climate differently than what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
It's really important that we start doing this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Karen, I believe Amber asked if you could send us the article that she sent you. If you can email the committee the article that she sent to you. I think that's.
Oh, sure, absolutely,
That'd
absolutely.
be very helpful for knowledge.
Thank you.
For these wind farms and for the solar farms, I think it's just a simple calculation of offsets. What can they offset? So they take a smaller town, it's a lot
Yeah.
easier to calculate an offset based on known area or how much a certain business is pulling than it is to just try and lay that offset onto Portland, something like that.
Right. They took like a
So,
year's
can
worth
I-
of bills and did
Yes,
any.
Amber, sorry, because I know she's.
Oh, Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, I've gotta jump off, but I wanted to say something before I jumped off. So the whole idea with these solar farms is it's not so much offsets. It's actually about the idea that we start thinking about how we exchange power with the grid, how we add power and take power, and we can build our own grids. And that's the purpose of the cropping up of these solar farms, is the way that we in effect create decentralized power grids so that our energy and power is more sustainable, but also more reliable instead of privatized power systems. And so that's where this movement is kind of coming from. And that's what the article explained. And it was the reason why I sent it was because, Cannon Beach has big storms where we're out of power for, sometimes days, sometimes weeks. And so how do we increase our reliance and reliability and stability of our power systems? And this was an option. So that's why I sent it, and that's where it's going. And it'd be great for everybody to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, when I say offset, I mean offset coal and natural gas as,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
and hydro, I guess, as
Yes, I
power
would
source.
agree. Yeah.
But, yeah, and oftentimes the wind and the solar can be less reliable, but they contribute to a more reliable system overall because there are other sources, as Amber said, that diversify where we get our energy from.
Clean energy. Yeah.
So when you guys send me something, if you want it to go to the committee, please ask me specifically to share it. Otherwise, I don't keep sending stuff out to you guys in between our meetings.
Okay.
And so always let me know that that's what your intent is. Amber, I didn't remember your email specifically asking me to do that. So I
No.
apologize if that's what your intent was.
I didn't, but it just seems like now that you brought it up here, it'd be great to share it.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
I'll do
Amber.
that in the future. Yeah, thank you. And I've got to sign off. So thank you guys. And I'm sorry to cut this meeting short.
Be
Thank
safe.
Okay. Thank you, Amber.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Right?
Okay, great.
Some from an old guy here, they might find amusing or not. This is, the geezer comment. I'm looking at the standard sample bill
Mhm.
here. And
Okay.
it's the basic charge, which is basically an electrical delivery charge, and then the energy usage charge. And then I counted, there's 18 line items after that have nothing to do with the electricity you use. I mean, it does, but all these additional credits and, I mean, if anybody can understand any of those other than maybe the taxes.
Pretty complicated.
Customer engagement, transformation adjustment, decoupling adjustment. So, there's 18 line items beyond what it went out. So the geezer part is, I can remember when there was one line. Here's how much you used, here's how much you pay. So in a way, I'm kind of supporting this proposal because there's already so many line items on there. One more isn't gonna break the bank. It's gotten already so out of control anyway. Anyway, that's the geezer comment.
Well,
Thanks,
they
Doug.
might have to change from a 4 font to a 3 font. Add another line though.
So my intent of sharing it, of course, was piggyback on what Amber had brought up, but I think the jury's still out until we start seeing some real results coming in and the statements saying this is what we've seen in savings. And we had to make projections on any changes in our power draws based on the improvements we're making at the pump stations and or anything else that might change, so that they could fit us appropriately in this whole power grid lineup. So if those things were to change, then obviously it would modify our savings conditions. So it's kind of an ongoing thing. We'll just have to monitor it and see what kind of a benefit the city and community gets out of it,
I think long-term it's good. I think.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. And so you guys will set up a meeting with those people.
Yeah, if you want me to have her come, I'd like to do it
Excellent.
when we start getting some statements. And then she can kind of interpret some of those things for us and talk about the benefits of it.
Yes.
Yeah. What's in it for us? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kinda show us.
That's always what I ask when somebody's coming to sell me something. I'm like, okay. What's behind the curtain?
Right.
I've got a question about the new building, the architect. Are remodel of the school.
Okay.
So are they considering any solar panels or alternative energy sources for that building?
They are. I'm not managing that project, so it'd be good for you to come to one of the public meetings they do on that project and ask more detailed questions if you want. But I know that the whole green materials aspect of that is being looked at. That roof would not necessarily accommodate solar panels very successfully. But I think that the aspect has been discussed in that overall project and other ways that they can benefit from that.
The whole,
Doesn't necessarily have to be on the roof.
the whole LEED certification thing? Is that what they're looking at?
Yeah, I would rather the Bruce or architect or the CMGC be able to answer that for you, because I just haven't been in the deep dive of that project.
Yeah, I just wanted to know in a nutshell if they're,
I'm just high level.
I'm sure they are, but I mean, yeah, you're right.
Looking into all those things,
Okay.
not only for that, but for City Hall too. So
Good.
all-
Yes, yeah, they just had the second public input meeting on Saturday, and it was a great turnout. And they did the breakout sessions, and that was one of them about the green energy, green materials, blah, blah, blah.
And then there is a work session outreach event for the elementary school at 6 PM on the 30th of this
Thank you.
month.
Great,
So-
thank you.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Online in person.
So the other thing I wanted to mention too, if I can, in this section, are we still in the section where you want some input on from Public Works? Am I legal? Bringing up another topic?
Yeah.
You're always legal to bring up.
Um, The tour for the wastewater plant.
Oh, yes.
I need you guys to give me some dates. I think originally what we talked about was trying to do the same thing we did with the water, where we do it on a day that you're coming together for a meeting anyway.
Yep.
And then, make sure that that works for Trevor and the team. Wastewater team pretty much said anytime, and I said, time out, you got a lot of projects going on. We're having 5 or 7 people traipsing through the plant would not be wise based on lab days, all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So I said, please look back at the dates and tell me what you think would be ideal, because I want you to be able to walk through the entire process.
Can we have them give us some dates?
That's
that they
better.
work, and so we can look at our schedule and then let's go from there.
Yeah, and so what I did is I gave Mike and the guys your Public Works meeting dates. And I said, let me know if any of these dates collide with projects that you and either the water team, because they're out there as well, have going on, that a tour wouldn't be wise. Because the other thing I considered doing, I got to run this by Bruce to make sure, is opening it up to our new council members. Because there's a lot of chairs changing.
Yes.
And not everybody understands our infrastructure. And because of our master plan projects and all the things going on, I think it's good for people to really understand the inner workings of that. So we'll do the same thing we did before, announce it as a public meeting, start here, go out and do the tour, come back, adjourn the meeting. And
That's a
so
great idea.
so if you guys doing the tour, you're gonna be outside a lot. So if you're not excited about a December, January potential rain blowing sideways day, we can move this to a little closer to the spring. Or we can try to do it at the very next meeting and cross our fingers, hoping that it's a day that's decent. It's your call. What would you like to see happen?
Can we discuss the very next meeting, since that just got brought up? We have periodically in the past, I'm not saying we need to do, we have periodically in the past of not met in December, just because. And so
I'm sorry.
we have periodically in the past not had a December meeting, just
The
because.
only time we have not had a committee meeting is if there's members gone on vacation and we don't have a quorum. Otherwise, we always have a committee meeting.
What would be the third Tuesday in December? What is the date?
The 20th.
The 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right around Christmas. It's not bad.
So it is okay for the committee to say,
Yeah. Is
they won't have a
anybody out of
meeting.
town or not expected?
Well, we could, I'm okay with the 20th as far as having the tour. And maybe that becomes our meeting.
well, is there a Christmas party after?
I don't.
You bring the cookies, I'll bring the hot
You
chocolate.
got
I don't know if we start pushing it
Are you-
now, I would rather, I enjoyed the water tour so much. I'm really looking forward to it. I'd like to get the wastewater under my belt.
Doug, are you going to be around or?
December 20th.
Yeah, 20th.
Yes, I will be around.
So I
And
think,
when I'm kind of dancing around in January and February, I'm only going to be able to zoom in. So
yes,
if it's not on December 20th, then I'd prefer March or April.
So if I'm hearing you,
That's why I wanted to bring.
and then in April, I'm going to France, so.
Yeah, so are we,
so if I'm hearing you correctly, you
Yes.
really desire it to shoot for December 20th.
Yeah,
right, the only reason I wouldn't be here is if the pass was,
Gotcha.
Right.
which happens a lot about that.
and we just put the umbrella up or gear up,
And if-
as they
if for-
say.
If for some reason I can't go, it's kind of okay, because Trevor, I see his name up there, he gave me a great tabletop A to Z on wastewater about
Exactly.
6 months ago.
Really?
Showed me everything.
Very nice.
Visually and how it works, but still, if I get here on the 20th.
So if all of you are in agreement with that date, with the exception of Amber, I'll reach out to her to see if
Yeah.
for any way she could be able to be here. But if the four of you are in agreement, we'll tentatively set that today as the date.
Tentatively, and that could be something that doesn't work for them, but
Yeah, so
it'd be nice.
you'll come in as your normal meeting,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And then if everybody is in agreement, Trevor's available, the plant says, yep, that's a great day, then that will be what happens that day for the meeting instead of a regular agenda,
Correct.
okay?
Sounds great.
One other point on the regular agenda for December, and this worked well last time. Our first item on the agenda in January is always election of the new chairman and vice chairman. And in the past, I'd show up and there wasn't any pre-discussion. Somebody would be nominated, somebody would be seconded, and it's like, whoa, it just happened. Last year, I encouraged everybody to, I can't remember exactly how we did it, is express a pre-interest as to whether they would be interested in either of the positions. So that when you came in January, somebody wasn't either taken by surprise that didn't want to do it, which is what you don't want, or, so it would be nice in December, even though it's not in the, maybe we're going to convene here
So
first.
why don't we just say right now? to
We can do it-
start
we can do it now,
thinking,
or yeah,
and then
right.
when you come back in January, just, either email Karen and say, hey, I'm willing to be the chair, or I want to be the vice chair, or what I want to do. So just do it now and then, send it to Karen,
Okay,
and then we'll do that. And then we don't have to worry about.
Okay,
that's fine. That wouldn't be a meeting, right? So, yeah.
No,
send it to Karen.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Karen, the information, hey, I'm interested in being the chair for the committee, for
Yeah.
2023, or,
Yeah.
do that, or VP, and then
Yeah.
let her know,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
we have an idea.
Right.
And there's
just
no
do it before the
pressure.
January meeting.
Right, and there's no pressure. Everybody needs to know on a committee, you're not required to sit in those seats. So it's okay to say no. I mean, like what Amber goes through with her job, she may or may not be able to do it.
Exactly.
So it's
Right,
okay to say,
right.
I'm not in a bad,
Bad.
or I could
Right, and
share
don't feel
it,
bad
you
that
know?
you have to do it, yeah,
Right.
you're right, it's just, thank you
Right.
for saying that, because it's
Right.
not something.
But if you're interested, most definitely speak up and say, I'd be happy to chair or co-chair the committee.
Okay,
Okay,
If you do it beforehand, you avoid the uncomfortable situation of being nominated
So
and
just so you know,
seconded.
I'm
and-
fine staying as chair, just so you know.
What's that?
I'm just saying, I'm fine staying as
Okay,
chair. just so
that's
you
all.
know.
yeah, very good, very good.
If we just want to do it that way, because.
And I'm very happy with that. You're good.
Well,
That's some tribal knowledge.
We can move on to the next adventure here.
Okay.
Karen, are you done with your?
Yeah, I'm done with mine, thank you.
Okay, good of the order? Tess, I think it's your turn.
Jan has a,
I just wondered, did you give a report about the projects?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Did you give a project report today?
A project report.
Usually you Give us a summary of the projects going on?
Right, there's been no change since last month. That's why I went ahead and shared the solar stuff.
Okay.
I really don't have anything else. There's been no change on any of our projects since last.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't think that was-
good.
Was there one more, were we supposed to revisit whoever it was that had the ice maker? Were we
That's
supposed to
what we're doing now, right?
That was
Good
Anita.
of the
Oh,
order.
okay.
Wasn't that Anita
do?
Duber?
Okay,
It is.
Yes,
This is good of
and
the
then-
order.
all right.
It is. So yeah, I just sent this to the committee as a little bit of an FYI. She had asked me about the appeal process. I definitely tried to stray away from explaining any reasoning for your decision, suggested she review the meeting minutes and meeting video, and explained the appeal process to her. So I think that she is in the process of submitting something to Jen to take to council.
You did very good. You left no fingerprints.
Thank you.
Did I see something in the packet
Yeah, you did.
that, well, no, because this went back and forth about recycling water.
Mhm.
Did I see something in the packet where the plumber said it probably entered the sewer system, or am I imagining that?
No, so last month, I had talked back and forth with Anita Duber, who had submitted this request, basically asking, because she had written in
Yeah.
the application that there was no wastewater usage. We were a little confused with how there would have been no wastewater usage if it was continuing to cycle rather than spilling out onto the floor. I asked her if she could check with her plumber. She did. She also gave me his number to call. I did. He said that unless it was visibly leaking somewhere, it was very likely to have been entering the central kitchen drain and then being treated like normal water.
Okay.
And that was the information that you all made your
Mhm.
decision
Okay.
based on.
Okay.
Exactly.
Again, I think what you guys did today is gonna kind of put things like that to bed.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think it was good clarification.
Yeah, she had a whole handwritten note.
Right, and that was not on the packet. That was another email that Tessa sent us, just so you know, so, yeah.
And I think I did put, yeah, I didn't
We
put,
did put something in
the
packet,
FYI in the
but there
packet
was
this
another
month.
email,
Right,
that
exactly.
Gave us a, more explanation.
And I had given her a heads up after the conversation with the plumber too, about what he said and what we would be taking to committee. All of that conversation happened before our October meeting, so.
Thank you.
And bottom line, she bought a new ice maker.
Right,
So that's done.
they're signed up for Eye on Water, they've.
Ice maker's good.
Their due diligence, but
That's fantastic.
For 3 months it leaked.
Anyways, blood drive, we have a blood drive going right now, starting in 10 minutes, so you guys know, we do have some openings, so if you want to stop by, come and visit. Anything else for good of the order?
Oh, let's see, no, I can't think of anything.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
I do. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
All right, thank you. Good, make the day a great one.
Thank you.
Well, Trevor, I hope you feel better.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I do too. Is Trevor on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, very good.
You can hear the enthusiasm in his voice.
Take it from me, don't go on any vacation.
Yeah. Have a good day,
Every time I go,
everyone.
I get something.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yes, thank you.
He got